Welcome back to the SCIF. This is the Green Beret Life. I am Matt. That is Stu. I am down here in the Southern Command, but I will tell you, it got into the 30s here, dude, last night. It has been unbelievably cold.
Well, I told my wife it snowed here, and this is 2 years in a row. It's time to move further south.
Well, I remember the picture you sent me last year when it snowed up there. And it snowed, I think, quite a bit of northern Florida as well. So I don't know what's going on. Global warming, dude. It's all the release of all the carbon and shit.
Something. Weather, I don't know.
Hot. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. If somebody new to the show thinks that we're serious on this bullshit. So anyways, this is going to be another shit show because I don't know what we're going to talk about, Stu. So you got to inform me, right? I was derelict in my responsibilities, right?
Well, we're used to it. I mean, that's no surprise to anyone whatsoever.
Derelict in my responsibilities. And
go ahead. No, go ahead.
So tonight's going to be a complete surprise to me too. This is on our vein of the most professional show on Rumble.
Well, we try. We do what we can with the duct tape and baling wire that we have on hand. Again, it's the gift that keeps on giving. There's several stories that tie in concerning Minnesota. And we're looking at more fraud in California to the tune of over $1 billion.
With your Southern, you've got to pronounce the state correctly. It's Minnesota. Go ahead.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. That's and the newspaper up there is not the Star Tribune. It's the Red Star.
The Red Star?
Yes.
That sounds about right.
That's exactly right.
But it looks like California is going to be on the hook for upwards of $1 billion for misappropriating Medicaid funds and basically paying for things they shouldn't be paying for illegal aliens out of your Medicaid dollars.
I promise you that is the very beginning, dude.
It's the tip of the iceberg, man.
It's just the tip.
It's just the tip.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets worse.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have? Kristi Noem was talking about, kind of what they've done in Minneapolis, and I didn't realize it was. I knew they were doing work up there. I didn't realize how much they were doing. We're going to talk about that.
It's still not.
It looks like
it's still not enough. I'm waiting for Trump to declare martial law up there. How they're getting away with this is beyond me. I'm starting to get a little frustrated because they're now chasing people down, going to work and making them denounce ICE or they're going to beat them up. Mobs of people, right? Oh, this guy looks like he supports ICE, right? This is nuts. It's time for the country to kick Minnesota in the teeth. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
well, as a start to that, it looks like Walz, Ellison, and Frey's offices have all been served grand jury subpoenas from the DOJ.
Well, it's about time, dude, because there's a lot of good people up there, and they're getting hammered by. And I'm going to tell you, it is a liberal state, but there's a lot of conservatives and patriots in Minnesota too. They have no representation. They have
it's the same as California.
Yeah,
you have the 3 or 4 cities that control, the liberal enclaves that control the entire state, and of course they district it in such a way that the conservatives and the Republicans get no representation. But that's okay because it's a liberal state; they can do that.
They've stood law enforcement down, so that's why these thugs are getting away with all the bullshit that they're getting away with. So now, when Walz is concerned that Trump is going to send troops in, so then he calls up the National Guard and has them on standby, and he's going to put them in yellow jackets. And he's very specific in what he's saying. They're there to defend local law enforcement. That means local
Yeah.
law enforcement are going to be defending Antifa and the anti-ICE crowd. That's
Oh,
exactly
absolutely.
he,
The
in a
same as
roundabout
they
way,
always do.
is challenging Trump. And if he thinks this is going to work out for him, Trump needs to declare martial law and then order all the National Guard, take those damn yellow jackets off, and then start helping the people of Minnesota who have been woefully mistreated by the leadership up in that damn place.
Well, and that's the thing, they think they're sticking it to Trump, but the ones they're hurting, like you said, are the residents who they just want to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Want to go to work, take their kid to
And
Minnesota hockey practice or whatever.
And they want the illegals gone like the rest of us.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So we're looking at that. There's some nonsense going on in New York with Mondami, and Schumer's crawled up out of his cesspool and is spouting his normal nonsense. We'll take a look at the garbage coming from his
did a guy like that ever get elected to office? How did Chuck Schumer ever? Is there a more unlikable human being in your whole life? You know what I mean? That you've ever met? I mean, this man, Dommy turd, okay? He's at least, you could see how he would appeal to the little young Marxist and shit that are out there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Who does Chuck Schumer appeal to? Or Jerry Nadler? Or any of that crowd that's up there? I think
no
Jerry
idea.
Nadler's gone now. But,
I think they've legitimately gotten to the point, Matt, that they're the only person to vote for in their district. Their district has been formulated in such a way that there's no Republican that has a chance to win, and any Democrat that they put up is just going to be flooded out of the zone with money. Yeah. So there's no Democrat that ever tries to run against them. I would really like to know, when was the last time they actually had a legitimate opponent? And
you add the fraud in on top of all of that, which we all know is there. Are these people really legitimately getting elected? That's a big question that we have to ask, and it's sad that we have to ask that question. Well,
we're gonna look at the fraud. That's one of the things that sounds like Schumer wants to get back up and running again. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna talk about that story as well. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start in Minnesota, or do you want to do some of the other stories first, since that seems to kind of dominate everything?
Dude, you throw it out and we'll go wherever.
Well, since we were talking about Schumer, we'll start with him. So he's come out and he's basically vowing, solemn, sacred vow, to restore all funds cut by DOGE if Democrats take midterms. So he's telling you here, I am going to reinstitute the fraud that DOGE uncovered if we retake midterms. And what was the suspicion that a lot of these funds were doing, Matt? Being funneled and funded right back into the Democrat Party.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Funding
and you Democrats, get right here.
Funding media, funding the transportation of illegals into our country by NGOs, everything that's destroying our country. That's what it's funding, and this is what Democrats want. Intentional destruction.
He said Democrats will push to restore federal funding cut under DOGE and potentially increase spending beyond prior levels. This guy has never met someone else's dollar he does not want to spend. No, even beyond that, he's never met somebody else's dollar that he doesn't want to spend 2 to 3 of, and max out their credit cards while he's at it. He's saying, if you look at the budget we're working on right now, we restore most of the cuts and even go higher than previous years on many of the programs that DOGE slashed. And again, DOGE went in and found fraud, waste, and abuse and cut these programs. So he's literally telling you in his own words, I want to refund these fraudulent, wasteful programs. And again, guys, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. This is what he wants to do.
No.
And DOGE's cut was $215 billion in wasteful spending. So Schumer's wanting to come back and take that $215 billion they've eliminated and crank it up and probably be spending $300 billion. Probably more if he could get away with it. But
the problem here is Republicans. If we lose the midterms, it's not because of Trump. It's because Republicans. And I don't know if you saw this. I'm not to hijack here because we're going to come right back.
No, go ahead.
There was a group of Republicans that went with Democrats to Denmark to try to undercut Trump doing his deal on Greenland. And one of those individuals was Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon. Now, you're probably going to know that name, Don Bacon, because anytime an America First agenda comes up, he's one of the ones that votes against it, Republican, right? This guy is a piece of garbage, right? We ought to pick one name. There's more than just Don Bacon, okay? You've got that Lawler out of New York. You got a bunch of them, okay, that are really, they're really Democrats. It's not even rhinos. They're Democrats, right?
Yeah.
Their strings are obviously pulled by special interest groups. They don't represent their people. But this is the undercurrent that's working against Trump in the background, and the Senate's full of it too. But Don Bacon, he's an easily recognizable name, Stu. We need to hit that name over and over and over again. And hopefully other people are doing this too, because he needs to be primaried. And there needs to be an America First candidate that runs against him. Hell, anybody that runs against him from the Republican Party. This guy needs to go. He needs to go. And I think every show we ought to bring that up. Now, there's a side note here. We did talk about we're probably going to have, in fact, we just haven't firmed up on the date, a congressman in the state of Texas is going to be on the show. We might get one from Minnesota too. Both these guys are really good candidates. They're not rhinos, and we're gonna have some really good interviews with them. And quite honestly, we're gonna try to help these guys get elected, because we need patriots in Congress, and we need America First patriots in Congress. So we talked about that. That's still in the works. We don't have the exact date. We're going to start this, but we're going to, and I hope you guys all take part in this. And but beyond that, the biggest problem that's going to allow these ghouls like Chuck Schumer and any of these guys get back to destroy the work that's already been done, despite the Republican Party, because it's Donald Trump pushing it forward, and he's brought a wrecking ball to Davos as we speak, right? Yeah. Despite all of that, Trump needs our support. Who gives a shit about these rhinos, right? If the country is behind Trump, Trump will win. So we need to make sure that we win the primaries. That means we have to sometimes hold our nose, but we've got to get everybody motivated and get out there and voting. And we need to get more new blood, America First blood, into the Republican Party and start getting rid of this rhino trash that has misserved us for years and years and years. And on the top of that list is Don Bacon.
Well, Freedom just posted, he said, Nebraska Don Bacon is not seeking re-election in 26.
Oh, great.
Hey, dude, you are on it. Matt, you're freaking amazing.
Well, yeah, that is amazing work, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Well, he's also out there saying that if Donald Trump pushes with Greenland, Greenland is going to be the best for the people of Greenland, and it's going to be the best for the United States of America to help secure our hemisphere up and keep China out of our hemisphere, right? I mean, there should be no question. And you have these dumbasses, because the global elite don't want it. The NATO elite, who's threatening us, by the way, there's members in NATO that are threatening us militarily, taking our bases in Europe. Can you believe this shit? Right?
No,
it's time to because pull the plug on NATO. Yeah,
we have done nothing but carry the water and the financial burden for NATO since its inception.
Exactly.
I mean, it wasn't until Trump's first term that some of these people were paying anything at all, even then, nowhere near their obligated, dues to NATO.
And
what was it, 3% or something?
Yeah,
they were paying nothing. They were paying, less than 1%.
I think it was 2.5% is all they were required, and Trump just bumped it up to 5%, right? But they weren't paying the 2.5% for years and years and years. It was the United States.
A lot of them were paying absolutely nothing. It's like, well, wait a minute, if you're a member of a club and you're not paying your dues, don't you get kicked out? I mean, I'm sorry, your dues aren't up to date. Your car warranty. Sorry, you didn't pay for your warranty. We're not replacing, your flux capacitor. You're on your own.
There are some countries in Europe that are bright spots. Obviously, Hungary is one of them, right? Poland is another one. A lot of the Eastern European countries, there are some bright spots there. Even Italy with Giorgia Meloni, right? Great Britain's a disaster. Germany's a disaster. France is a disaster. And a lot of the Dutch are on the verge of possibly having some patriots rise up there as well, right? But Europe is a mess. It's an absolute mess. And I think Trump is over there rubbing their nose in the shit that they created.
Wasn't it the Dutch and the Netherlands a couple of years ago with the farmers?
Yes. Yeah, exactly right. So they're trying to push back, and we need to support that. And when we talk about Europe, there's patriots in Great Britain that are up against it. It's the government that we're talking about. I'm sure there's patriots in France too. I just don't know of too many.
Well, right? You literally have the UK police going and knocking on doors of people for Facebook posts that hurt somebody's feelings.
They're still doing it. Yeah. It's I sent a video.
A spicy meme straight to jail. It's like, what the hell?
There's a guy named Kurt Katz. He's German, right? And this guy travels around the world, and he's interesting because he pretty much goes wherever on a wing and a prayer, and then through talking to people and gets his way through like South America and whatever. So he did a video, it was just a short video, where he went back to Germany, and he's walking through a park with a buddy of his, right? And they're getting accosted along the way by these migrants, right? And there's groups of them, and they have their cameras going, and they're coming up telling them, you can't record, don't record, don't. And he's like, basically like, piss off. This is my country of Germany. I can record. Yeah. I'm not going to let someone who's not from my country of Germany tell me I can't record, right? But
he's walking through, and he's like, look at these doctors and engineers selling drugs in the corner.
Yeah. Sure. There's a woman on a bench, and she's just like beside herself. And he's like, do you feel enriched? Right.
Yeah.
I like that energy, because there's a lot of patriots that are like that in these countries. So often we just think Great Britain, Germany, these guys are all just big lefty. No, they are in a fight for their countries over there, just like we are. Ireland,
they have been, and I'm trying to figure out, and maybe I'm not a smart man, I'm a simple man. I'm trying to figure out what the leadership of the country, how are they benefiting by collapsing their country? I mean, what is
well, here's the benefit, Stu. We've talked about this. The benefit is the single world government. The European Union was like the first step in that direction.
That is true.
Because the European Union holds sway over all of these European countries.
Yeah, that is true.
And that was sort of like the test run to get going. The model is China, right? How they run their government. But the way it looks like what the World Economic Forum, who is dead, by the way, and Trump is over there letting everybody know that they're dead, right? But their model was basically you collapse the Western world, right? Decrease the population. Okay. We don't even need to bring up how they were starting that process, right? Yeah. Okay. Decrease the population, a more manageable population. You've got to collapse the major powers like the United States, Russia. You've got to collapse all of that, right? And then these elites will become the new ruling class that will always be the ruling class. The rest of us will be serfs. It'll be like a feudal system. That's what the 15-minute cities are all about, right? Just imagine having one of these lords, like medieval England, right? And
Yeah.
they control everything. And that little spot of land is what you have permission to move around in. You won't need a car. That's what this net zero bullshit was all about. It was to make shit too expensive that the average person couldn't afford it. If you needed to rent something, you would have to ask permission and then be able to rent something. If
Well,
you
look at what is it, BlackRock and State Street and all them buying up all of these apartments and homes and townhouses and everything. Well, they're not selling it, but they'll rent it to you.
Dude, here's something that makes that at a level that you're dealing with every day and I'm dealing with every day. This is how it's being done. Do you know that like 3/4 of the vet offices for vets for dogs and cats and whatnot are now owned by private equity? Did you know that? And the first thing they've done is raise the price on everything. That's why it costs $500 to go to a vet now.
And now you can buy insurance for your pet.
Yes. And that's expensive as hell. Ask me how I know that, right? So if you've gone to it's not like 20 years ago going to a vet where you had your local vet that ran their own shop there for years. Sometimes they made house calls and other things like that. No, these organizations every day are getting bought out by private equity, faceless corporations, and the first thing they do is raise the price on everything. So the price goes up, your individualized care goes down. You know where else they've done this? Dentist offices. All of these dental offices are now private equity owned. And I think it's even more than 3/4 of dentist office. They're doing that with everything. And that's the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, and organizations just like them. And if we don't get America First patriots stopping this bullshit, because they create monopolies and they make things so damn expensive. They're pricing us out of everything. Why does a damn truck today cost $100,000? And it's very easy to spend $100,000 on a freaking pickup truck. That is insane. Absolutely insane. And we've accepted it. And what we do is we just finance it. Just finance it, right? Long term, you are going to get in so much debt. So how does this go into how these guys are collapsing their own countries and everything else? They need to destroy you too, financially, right? They need to destroy you financially because you will own no private property. The elite will own the private property. You will rent everything and you'll be happy. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy, according to Klaus Schwab and the rest of those ghouls over there that are about to get a mud hole stomped in their ass by Donald Trump tomorrow, right? So
yeah, I just looked it up, Matt, and it's private equity controls roughly 25 to 30% of general practices, but a much larger share, 75% of specialty or emergency clinics when it comes to veterinary offices. Mm-hmm. And I looked up the dental, and by 2030, they're expected to have 30 to 40% of dental offices.
Okay, so I may have exaggerated a little bit, but not
much.
No,
the point still stands. Yeah. I was just curious, so the point still stands. It's not in the consumer's benefit whatsoever.
Absolutely not, and it's not really capitalism either. They're eliminating competition. There's no competition, and then
they're making a monopoly without it being a monopoly.
Correct.
Well, no. Jimmy runs that. We just manage it. We're just managing it.
Exactly.
We're helping them with funding. Mm-hmm. We're helping them grow. We're equity. That's what we are. When they want to grow, when they need a new, widget, then they can come to us for the financing for it. We're here to help.
Yeah.
But by us giving them that money, we're going to tell them, well, you really should be charging X, Y, and Z for such and such, procedure. And if they want to play with us and get the funding from us, then that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, for sure. So, but look at all industry going this way. I mean, we're the mom and pop stores. They're gone.
They're run out.
Yeah.
I mean, Walmart would take, I don't know if you guys remember, about 8 or 9 years ago, Walmart was doing this huge thing with the little neighborhood Walmarts. It's about the size of a Family Dollar, mm-hmm. A little small thing, little Walmart pop up.
Yeah.
And it'd pop up just long enough for everything around it to shut down.
And then they shut those
They
down.
close it.
Yeah.
And everybody, well, now I can't go to the local grocery store or the local whatever because this Walmart neighborhood store opened. It was open for about 3 years. Well, to close everything down, they closed it down. Now I have to go 30 minutes away to the Walmart to get something. And Walmart's the only place I can go because everything else is shut down too.
Okay, so it's funny that you bring that up because when you talk about Walmart doing that, right? They also were involved with Walmart through Murphy Oil, right? Costco, a lot of these, they got into the selling gas business, right? And everybody goes there because what they do is they use gas as a loss leader. So they lose money per gallon of gas, but they drive Sam's Club memberships or they drive Costco memberships. That's what because that's where they're going to make their bread and butter, right?
Oh, yeah.
But what they're also,
we bought gas at Sam's.
But here's what they're doing. They're destroying the local gasoline market. Okay. And you're like, oh, it's great. I can go and save 5 cents a gallon by going to Walmart where they're losing money selling gas. Right. And then what happens is they run everybody else out of town. And then it's no longer a deal to go get your gas at the only place you can get it, Walmart, Costco, or whatever. That's when the prices go back up. Boom. And we need to be a forward-thinking consumer public, right? Because anytime ma and pa stores are getting run out, that's not a good thing anywhere. That is not a good thing. It's usually going to lead to a big corporation. You're like, oh, more efficiency, this and that. What you're going to get are big corporations that do deals with dishonest administrations like the Biden administration, the Obama administration, and they're going to screw us, the public, and they're going to have all the control because we gave it to them. That's why
because be on top of you really think gas being $2.25 a gallon or being $3 a gallon really affects anybody in Washington the way it affects you and I?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
But it destroys our economy. It destroys our economy. So, but those lizards in Washington, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
No, it definitely has an outsized impact on you and I versus what it does our betters.
They're doing an investigation into Ilhan Omar and how in 1 year she went from $50,000, her and her husband net worth, to $30 million.
Yeah.
What more does this witch? Did you hear she called the United States of goddamn America today? Did you hear her do that? Yeah. So what more does this woman need to do before something is
now?
Done?
If she had said the United States of MF in America, I'd be like, yeah.
No. So that's what she said.
I don't doubt it. Well, she's already said she's a representative of Somalia.
That's exactly why is this woman? And I know that there's another congressman. I forget who it is. I think he's also from Nebraska. I'm not 100% sure. Somebody's introducing a bill that's basically saying if you came to this country from somewhere else and you received naturalization, but you're involved with fraud, crime, or anything else, we can take that naturalization from you and send you back to your country.
Yes.
You know who's not going to vote for that? Do you know who's not?
Absolutely.
Rhinos. Rhinos are not going to vote for it. They're going to join the Democrats. So it will not get pushed through. This is just making my case even more.
It does nothing but make perfect sense because what that has done is that it's proved you're a liar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You did not come here to grow your business, to do your thing, to become, to become an American. You came over here to defraud, to lie, cheat, and steal.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We have enough of that homegrown. We don't need to import more.
Exactly.
We just don't. I mean, if the boat is already sinking, we don't need to dump the fire hose into the boat. We need to be bailing it out and patching holes.
Yeah.
We've got enough, dirt bags and shitty people here. We don't need the rest of the world's.
Yeah.
They can deal with their own nonsense.
We need to get them the hell out of here. This is a good segue for, didn't you say we had a story on Kristi Noem talking about how much people we've actually removed from Minneapolis or Minnesota?
Yeah, I did. We've got this here, and I didn't realize this. There have been over 10,000 arrests of illegals in Minneapolis since the start of Trump's second term, with 3,000 of them being in the last 6 weeks alone.
That's good work. And now on top of that, there's a bigger number of how many have self-deported, right? So did they talk about that in this article?
They don't hear, and I know the self-deportation, they're thinking it's
3 times higher, 3 to 4 times higher. Okay.
yeah.
So, well, let's say 3 times. Okay. So
And then Kristi Noem was talking she was on Face the Nation. Of course, Face the Nation pulls out their own stats that are skewed, you know, oh, well, this, that, and the other. Basically, 70% of detained illegal immigrants face charges or convictions. Now, what she's saying here is they either have already been convicted of crimes in the United States or their home country, or they're facing charges here or in their home country. Now, this is above and beyond their, breaking the law coming in here anyway. This is in addition to. This is the bonus round. And
what the left likes to say, Stu, what the left likes to say is migrants commit less crimes than homegrown Americans. Here's how they get that statistic. There's 300 million homegrown Americans. There's 50 million migrants, right? They're taking the per capita from migrant to crime compared to 300 million. It's not even close when you start getting it for act. Migrants commit far more crime than naturalized Americans or homeborn Americans.
Well, again, Matt, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
it's
what it is. So,
and that's exactly what they're doing, and they parrot that, and they all get on the same talking point of migrants prevent fewer or commit fewer crimes. Migrants commit fewer crimes. That becomes the talking point that makes its rounds, and enough people say it. Well, it must be true. I mean, the media wouldn't lie to us, right? I mean, if there's anything we've learned over the past 10 years, the media wouldn't lie to us.
Exactly. And Chuck Schumer.
How dare you insinuate otherwise?
And Nancy Pelosi.
But
well, I'm going to say something. Put that with Kristi Noem up there. There were a couple people coming into this administration that I was a little bit dubious about. Okay. I wasn't super dubious on Kristi Noem. I was a little dubious on Marco Rubio. I think both of them have actually done a fantastic job, right? Both of them. I'm going to tell you who I am rapidly losing patience with, and I know you've lost patience with.
Pam Bondi?
Pam Bondi. I don't know what in the hell is going on. Where are the prosecutions? Where are the arrests? I know we're up against a crooked judiciary, I know, but there has been a deafening lack of action as far as the DOJ is concerned on a lot of this shit.
Yeah, I don't know if it is just the nature of the judicial system that it moves at just a glacial pace for anything, because any I not dotted or T not crossed is an excuse to just throw out everything. Again, I'm not making excuses, because I'm just as absolutely frustrated as you are. I'm just trying to figure out what could be.
Dude, I'm in the same boat, because I want to support the whole administration, but I think she has allowed a scenario where the Epstein deal was all Democrat. And now they're using it as a cudgel to bash over Trump's head. And I think she's mismanaged this whole thing from the get-go.
Well, you and I talked about it. We had a difference of opinion as to whether it should or should not. But my thing was,
I was trying to give the doubt. But there's something wrong. There's something that's not happening that needs to be happening. And I don't know what it is. There might be a logical explanation. I want to be supportive. And I think that 90% of the administration is kicking ass, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're putting in the work. And my whole thing with the Epstein was, it was, as far as I was concerned, is, it was an unforced error. Mm-hmm. If they had come out the one time and said, hey, we're going through everything, we're seeing what's missing, what's here, what we think is real, what we think may have been manipulated. We're doing the background work to make sure we understand everything, have a handle on it, and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
But instead they did this, this is phase one. It's sitting on my desk. It's going to be released next week. It's like, exactly. No, you don't have to do that. You're giving your enemy ammunition.
And that's what they did. And it's like they smell blood in the water. Now, State Department's kicking ass. Department of Homeland Security is kicking ass, and they're up against it, right? Yeah. Department of War is kicking ass, right? I mean, Scott Bessent is kicking ass all over the place. That guy's another star, right? It's just Pam Bondi. And like I said, I want to be supportive, right? But boy, I think she's really letting Trump down. I
hope they, Freedom says he watched a quote unquote conspiracy theory video that said the DOJ was actually doing a massive review of political BS going back years. And, I guess I can appreciate that, but, these people should be able to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Yeah.
We have things that are going on today, yesterday, 15 minutes ago that need attention and need to be corrected.
We have to win a midterm. I mean, when are they going to start doing something? The American people saw all the lawlessness that happened with the previous administration, and they want people to pay for this. Why are we fooling around in Minnesota right now with this guy Walz and Ellison and that lieutenant governor and Ilhan Omar, and allowing innocent people to have their ass kicked in the street because they're suspected of supporting ICE, which we all support.
Which we all voted for.
Yeah.
Well, my thing, Matt, and I know a lot of it is posturing and all that, but, people only have so much bandwidth before their eyes glaze over and they just, but what was up with the subpoena and everything of Bill and Hillary Clinton?
Oh yeah. They just blew off. And I know.
And here's my thing. It's like, whoever came up with that is
jail. They're not going to go to jail. Navarro and Bannon went to jail. Bill and Hillary are not going to jail. We know that.
Exactly. Well, that's my point. It's like, okay, whoever came up with that as a plan of action, they should have had steps 1 through 6 already planned out. Okay, we're going to initiate this subpoena. We know they're going to disregard it. Our next step is this. Our third step is this. Our fourth step is that. And fucking bam, bam, bam. Don't just sit there on your hands and look completely impotent whenever you serve a subpoena and they just hand wave it away. And then you're just sitting there going, I don't know.
This was a subpoena for Congress, right? But I think the only people who can act on it, as far as punishment is concerned, is the DOJ. I could be wrong in all of it, but this is how I think it works. So Congress subpoenaed them. They blew the subpoena off. I don't know if they recommend to the DOJ, if there's some congressional committee that recommends to the DOJ, they want repercussions.
But I mean,
but I can tell you think Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon went to freaking jail.
Yes.
Okay, for bullshit. So these people were brought up for legitimate shit, and they're not going to go. That is not right.
But I mean, don't you think though, if you were just, you've done planning, you've done prep, you've done, work for operations that have moving parts and different people that have to work together to make things happen. Mm-hmm. You make that contact, you build that relationship, you have that partnership of, hey, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Are you going to back me up on this? Because here's what I expect is going to happen. Yeah, we got your back. Or no, our hands are tied. We can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you look completely incompetent and just you're flailing around and throwing darts in the dark and hope something sticks. It just it seems like a Matt and Stu duct tape production at times. It's just have that prep work done. Know what your next steps are. Who's with you and who isn't? Because right now this was what 2 or 3 weeks ago. These subpoenas were sent out, hand waved away, and freaking crickets.
Yeah, crickets is exactly right. And
it should be, if
James Comey and Letitia James, whatever happened to that? Has it passed the statute of limitations right now? Now,
well, Freedom just said that Comer says he'll begin contempt of Congress proceedings. But again, Freedom, what does that entail? Yeah. What if does it have any teeth? Probably not, because it's going to have Democrats involved in it. It just.
Yet the Democrats were effective at putting our guys in jail.
Yeah,
this isn't right. And
but again, we talked about this, Matt. The Republicans can have the presidency, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court, and be like, our hands are tied.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do. Our hands are tied. And it's like we don't want to. We can't give you any more.
Yeah, they don't want to be in charge, dude. They're perfectly happy, and this is why I'm afraid
I will die on that hill.
Yeah, they're going to intentionally try to tank the midterms. This is why we got to get out there and we've got to get involved in the primaries and everything else. You knock off a few of these shitbag Republicans, boy, oh boy, wait till you see how fast things change.
Maybe.
Wait till you see.
Maybe so.
Don Bacon. Then we got to pick somebody else.
You already knocked him off.
Yeah. You guys have been successful with that one. Holy shit.
Well, let me get through 2 of these other stories real quick, and we'll move over and focus on Minnesota a little more. The one with Mondami here, he's looking to raise property taxes in New York City while simultaneously planning to implement a rent freeze.
Yeah. That sounds like a good plan. A guy who has absolutely zero idea of what he's doing right here. This is an idiot.
All of these landlords, and I'm not going to say there aren't bad landlords. I'm sure that there absolutely are. But they're basically saying, hey, we're going to come in here. We're going to increase your operating expenses. It's going to cost you more to operate and exist in the housing market. But we're going to limit and lock down how much you can charge for your service. Where does that make sense? And what they're talking about is what's going to happen is, you probably have property owners that have multiple properties and however many here are rent stabilized and these aren't. What they're going to have to do is take an increase the rent on the properties they have that are not rent controlled to make up for the shortfall of the properties they have that are rent controlled that are basically losing them money.
Stu, this plugs right into what we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
You will not own any private property and you'll be happy. They're running.
They're not even wanting the landlords to own it. They want the government to own it. Because I can guarantee
they're running them out of business.
Well, they've already talked about, I think it was New York, not under him, under the other guy, where they were talking about the government going in and taking property from landlords that were not maintaining the property to their whatever the standard of the day was.
And they can come up with some environmental standards, some other bullshit to make it too expensive. This is what they're doing the American farmer today, right?
Well, but right now what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we're going to take and cut off your cash flow to be able to maintain your properties. Well, then when they fall into some level of disrepair that we will define at a later date, we're going to find you into freaking oblivion to the point that, the only possible solution
over all of the property. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I being the ADHD having individual I am. Do you see that article to the right down there with Pam Grier?
Yeah, I saw. I read this earlier. I did.
What happened to this woman? This was the woman that was in Jackie Brown, and she used to be fairly attractive, right? Now she's turned into Cousin It, and she's worried about lynchings. She's worried about lynchings.
But if you read the article, she was saying they saw bodies hanging from trees on their way home from school.
Yeah.
The last lynching in her state was in like 1911.
Yeah, 1911. So, yeah.
But you know what? But you know what this is, Matt? This is when people get brainwashed into, lynching and shooting unarmed minorities and all this. They're convinced. You'll see the man on the street interviews where they're like, how many African Americans do you think were killed by police officers this year? Oh, it's got to be like 30,000. I mean, the people, because that is all they see. It'll make your head spin, dude. It will.
I wonder if she's really this dumb, this brainwashed, or when was the last time you saw Pam Grier in a movie? I mean, look at what she's turned into Cousin It here, right?
I thought it was Boy George, but
yeah, one of them, right? But there's like two Boy Georges there, right? So, so I wonder if this isn't all a big play to get on The View and say the most ridiculous shit and everything else to try to get more attention to revive her career that's been non-existent for the last 15 years.
It possibly is. You have a lot of these people that, I mean, anyone out of Hollywood is just about as bad as anyone out of politics. They have no soul. There is no person there. They simply parrot what they're told to parrot, act in the way they're told to act, and they throw dollars at them.
Some are. They're the good ones. The good ones get punished. Look at Mel Gibson.
Yeah. There's a handful, just like there's a handful in D.C. Yeah, but it's by far a minority.
Yeah, I mean, it's intimidation is what it is. It's intimidation.
Well, the other story, one of the other ones I had here was this one, California. We're talking about fraud in Minnesota. This is the tip of the iceberg in California. Ordered to refund $1 billion after audit exposes federal health care funds spent on illegal immigrants. And it says, under federal law, states may use federal Medicaid funds to cover emergency medical services. Now, what'll happen is, why do you think none of the illegal immigrants have doctors? They go to the emergency room for a head cold.
They absolutely go to the emergency
room. Because Medicaid will pay for it.
And no questions asked. They get everything, carte blanche. Right?
Routine care, elective procedures, and non-emergency treatments must be paid for by the states themselves.
Yeah.
Federal auditors determined nearly $1.4 billion owed back to taxpayers, with California alone accounting for the overwhelming majority. So out of $1.4 billion, California is $1.3 billion. And then you got these others here that are.
This is just the beginning. More of your taxpayer money being stolen in the name of illegals. Yet people like Ilhan Omar go from $50,000 net worth to $30 million in 1 year.
Well, the statement I like here is California officials predictably denied wrongdoing, claiming the state routinely reimburses the federal government. But the audit findings directly contradict those claims, and the financial damage is already done. And the
problem is California thinks they're too big to fail, and that the United States is always going to bail them out because they're the 8th largest economy in the world and whatnot. California needs to fall on its face.
Well, Matt, my thing is, if California is the 8th largest economy in the world, let them sink or swim on their own.
Exactly.
Here,
we should not be bailing California out.
Implement your utopia.
Yeah. Any of these liberal states that have bankrupted themselves in the name of illegal immigration and social engineering, right? We do not bail out. The American people are not on the hook. The American taxpayer is not on the hook for these
Well, Matt, you remember a couple of years ago under Biden, they were talking about implementing a wealth tax.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it in California
on unrealized capital gains, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
California wealth tax.
Yeah.
California Secretary of State Shirley Weber proposed the initiative titled imposes one-time tax on certain individuals and trusts. Now, how is this not the equal protection under the law? Everything applies to everyone equally. But anyway, if approved, this initiative would impose a 5% tax on assets held by individuals and trusts that are valued at over $1 billion. Now,
Okay, in Washington State, they're trying to push through a 9.9% tax on anybody who makes over $1 million a year. So what they're doing is they're going to, if these people are smart, they're going to get the fuck out of those states, and they're never going to vote for a Democrat ever again. Okay, and then the tax base dries up. That's what's happening in New York. That's what's happening in California. It's going to happen in these states like Washington and Oregon, right? It's going to happen in Illinois. You can't just hammer people and expect them to say, "Oh, we're going to be fine with you stealing all of our labor and wealth." Sorry. So
well,
go ahead.
as written, here's an example of how this could come to play out. All right, you've got. This is an example here using the Google co-founders. It says Larry and Sergey can't stay in California since the wealth tax as written would confiscate 50% of their Alphabet shares. They say each own 3% of Alphabet stock worth about 120 billion each today at its $4 trillion market cap. But because their shares, because their founders have a 10x voting power, the billionaire tax would treat them as owning 30% of Alphabet. 3% times 10 equals 30%.
Well, they're saying the SCIU. Wait, hold on, back up.
Go ahead.
Okay. But because their shares have a 10% voting power, the SEIU, which is this is the largest union in the world, Service Employees International Union, made up largely. There's a lot of illegals in this because they're like hotel workers and whatnot.
Yeah,
this came from Acorn. This was under the Acorn umbrella. This is a shitbag Marxist union, right? SEIU.
And so it looks like they're one of the groups backing this tax.
Of course they are.
So what it would do. All right, they own 3% of Alphabet. Their shares have 10 votes per share. So they're saying, oh, well, that means each founder's taxable wealth would be 1.2 trillion. A 5% wealth tax on 1.2 trillion equals a 60 billion tax bill each. That's 50% of their actual Alphabet holdings wiped out by a 5% tax.
Okay, boo-hoo-hoo to Alphabet, because these bastards are the ones that given all these assholes this kind of power. These guys have worked every election. They've worked everything, allegedly, right? But this is not a good company. Google is not. They're the ones.
Well, no, I'm not saying as a company. I'm just saying in general and just.
But this is what these.
Well, look at how many people.
They're the ones who have enabled this bullshit. They're the ones who have supported it and enabled this bullshit. And now they're crying. So it's fine that they do this to the rest of the world, or the rest of the United States. But now that it's going to hit them in the shorts, boo hoo hoo. We're supposed to cry for these assholes.
No. My point is.
I get.
My point is.
I'm just saying, fuck those guys.
Yeah, no, I get that. But my point is, if this goes into effect, the absolute collapse of the stock market as these people are forced to liquidate all of these shares to pay this. So the Google stock that my 401k, my Roth IRA, is invested in is going to, collapse and it is going to be an absolute catastrophe if this goes into effect as written the way it is. It is, granted, Google, Alphabet, whatever. My point isn't to give a shit about any particular individual. It is just the knock-on effect that this is going to have if and when they do try and implement it.
I get exactly what your point is, dude. What I'm just trying to say is the irony here that Larry and Sergey Brin are going to bitch now about this 5% tax when they've done nothing but support the monster that is giving us this tax. They've done nothing but support these bastards.
Yeah.
And they'll still support them.
But one of the things I saw here, it says, people and businesses have been leaving California for states where the tax burdens are not so high. This month, U-Haul released its growth index, and the Golden State ranked 50th or dead last for the 6th consecutive year. In the past 5 years, California has lost some major businesses, including Chevron, Tesla, Oracle, CBRE, Hewlett-Packard, Palantir, SpaceX,
Neutrogena, Realtor.com, and FICO. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, co-founders of Google, are the most recent influential of the Golden State to pick up. And did they actually pick up? Did they move Google's headquarters somewhere else?
I don't know if they moved Google's headquarters or just they picked up and relocated. But I guess that part of me is like you, Matt. It's like, wait a minute. Why are you relocating? These are the people you support. These are the policies that you applaud.
So Larry and Sergey can go to Texas now and then pull their same shit and get other liberal politicians elected.
Start dumping their money into races there.
Yeah. I mean, this is nuts. These freaking guys.
You know what, Matt? You convinced me. I'm almost on board now with them taking all of their money to prevent them from doing that. But
exactly. They need to lie in the bed that they made. So I have very little patience for them. They've been neck deep into all the shenanigans that were allegedly around our elections, and they've given us this animal that is destroying the country, all over the country. So
the last story I have here concerning Minnesota, I don't know if you guys saw the videos or whatever, when basically Don Lemon led a group of protesters into a church to shout down the pastor and the congregation as they were having their church service on a Sunday, because the pastor had the same name. I haven't seen where it's been confirmed that he was an ICE agent, individual, affiliated, whatever, and a pastor, but there are individuals of the same name that is an ICE field office manager and this guy who was a pastor.
It's not the same.
It's not? Okay. I had not seen anything definitive.
I haven't seen anything definitive either, but it would be all over the place if it was. Okay. He's not.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah. So what I will say is they broke the law by doing that. Seriously broke the law. People have a right to worship in their own place of worship. And well, came in and started attacking. What's the name of the act? There's an act.
Well, there's two, Matt.
Okay.
There are two acts. And the funny thing is, let me see, I've got it down here. One is the Justice Department was investigating potential violations of the FACE Act by these people desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers, referring to the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. The law enacted in 1994 prohibits interfering with or obstructing people seeking reproductive health services or exercising religious freedom at places of worship. Mm-hmm. The better one is, Dillon also mentioned the possibility of invoking the Enforcement Act of 1871, known as the Ku Klux Klan Act, which was passed during Reconstruction to protect Black American civil rights. Mm-hmm. Whenever anyone conspires to violate the protected civil rights of American citizens, the Klan Act can be used to bring a conspiracy charge. So you've got Don Lemon going to be possibly prosecuted using the Ku Klux Klan Act. It's freaking poetry.
Yeah. A guy who allegedly has been accused of jamming his hands forcibly down an unwilling participant male's pants, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they went in there to intimidate. First of all, we don't take lectures from atheist Marxists on what good Christians do, right? That's the first irony in all of this.
Atheist Marxist sodomites, as to what a good Christian should do.
So the funny thing is, they're in there trying to lecture people they're not good Christians because they support ICE and this and that and the other thing. First of all, arrest every one of these fuckers. And there's this big mouth dude with a beard. I don't know if you've seen him on TV wearing the yellow jacket. He was right in the middle of that. He's in the middle.
He is a professional protester.
Yeah, that dude, arrest him now. Arrest the whole crew that went in that. This is why I'm getting frustrated. People are being run down and beat up on their way to fucking work because they won't denounce ICE. So this is the law enforcement has been told to stand down. Well, obviously they've been stood down through the county, Hennepin County, and Minneapolis. And this is criminal. This is absolutely criminal. And they're going to let this crew of malcontents go in there and destroy the people who are paying. These people are out there because they don't work. That's why they're there. They're getting paid to be there. They do not work, right? So they're out there harassing what the people that do work and pay for all of this have voted for. And the people trying to get to work, they're running them down and beating them up if they don't plead allegiance to being anti-ICE. This is, and then when you have the National Guard on standby to basically work with the police, protecting these same people, wreaking havoc on the whole city against the U.S. government, what are we waiting for? Now, I've heard numbers, and I'm not being hyperbolic here because we've all heard the 9 billion number. I've heard allegedly this could top $19 billion in the state of Minnesota alone. So this is a mess. This is an absolute mess. These politicians are up to their neck in it. Waltz, Ellison is on tape.
Yes, with the Somali.
He is on tape, okay? And state officials have been terminated for asking to look into the fraud. That means they're attacking the whistleblower. So many crimes have been committed here. And maybe they're just taking their time trying to, you have ICE vehicles being torn apart, weapons being stolen, intelligence being taken and disseminated by reporters. That's a felony, right? Reporters disseminating information stolen from an ICE vehicle about ICE members and
then doxing them.
Yes, and people they're going after. And then you have gang members using a pickup truck to pull out the gun boxes and steal the weapons out of the back. Why? Oh my Lord. Harmeet Dillon is one of the bright spots in the DOJ. She is
one thing I will say, and it's Christians have become entirely too docile.
You notice they're not going into mosques doing this, right?
Well, that's what I was about to say. This wouldn't happen going into a mosque.
Mm-hmm.
And that one big Sasquatch dude getting up in those people's faces, if he had been rocked and put on his ass,
Oh, I bet you if they would have pulled this shit out in the suburb at some of these mega churches they have in Minnesota, his ass would have been rocked.
They've got security.
Yeah.
That would have stopped that. They never would have gotten in the front door. Again, they pick their targets. They're cowards. Every single one of them.
Yeah. You're 100%.
None of them are going to go to where they actually expect legitimate pushback.
They will only be where they outnumber everybody else 20-1. That's what that's where their strength lies. And you're right, Stu. They're cowards. They're absolutely cowards. Oh.
But the good thing is, we've got this here. Waltz, Ellison, and Frey's office have been served with grand jury subpoenas. The DOJ served subpoenas to 5 Democrat-controlled offices in Minnesota, including Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, according to Fox News.
So that lieutenant governor is neck deep in this too. She's neck deep in this.
They're saying all of these people have deliberately, willfully, and purposefully incited this violent insurgency against ICE and against Border Patrol, top White House advisor Stephen Miller said during his appearance on Fox News. He said Miller pointed out that the insurgents routinely disrupt operations by tracking ICE vehicles through spotters and blocking them. They then dox ICE officers. They follow them home. They follow them to where they sleep at night. It's a sophisticated insurgency involving a large number of radicalized extremists, violent left-wing operators stoked by the Democrat Party. And it's funny. You've heard the acronym AWFUL, Matt?
Remind me.
The affluent white.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about how horrible it was that Renee Good was being referred to as an awful, how just disrespectful and all. It's like, you guys have been referring to Republicans and conservative as Nazis and racist and homophobes and whatever else for the past freaking decade.
We're coming to find that these organizations, like this charter school that Renee Good and her wife had Renee Good's kids at, are the ones that hooked them up with ICE Watch, right? Who is funding that charter school? Is that taxpayer money funding that charter school? Because that thing needs to be shut down yesterday. You know what I mean? Yeah. So why are we being flat-footed on this intentionally? Why are we not dismantling this system from within? Why? And why are we allowing a group of paid thugs, allegedly, right, to go around and harass and attack honest, everyday citizens that are trying to get to frickin' work? Why are we doing
that? It's again, it's just like these other countries and everything else. They are using our freedoms against us.
The police force in Minneapolis, okay? I would bet that the majority of those that are on the force support the job that ICE is doing, yet they're being told to stand down, right? Obviously.
Well, here we go, man. Here's a very interesting statement. We've got a comment on YouTube. It says, this might be the start of a civil war. How many of the 40 million on food stamps are even employable after multiple generations?
Yeah, good, really interesting question.
I've brought that point on multiple occasions, is when you have a subset of the population that they've been given X amount.
They've been
for generations.
They've been turned into permanent recipients or a succubus.
Right.
And that's what they've been turned into.
And because you and I were like, well, I want more. I want my kids to have it better than me. I want them to go and do and earn and produce and be happy. Mm-hmm. But when you've been convinced And everything that you've seen is all you have to do is X, Y, and Z, and you'll be taken care of. And then all of your supplemental income comes from drugs, stealing shit, whatever. It's like you said, you develop a group that is they're not consumers, they're parasites. They're taking from the system without contributing anything.
It's a permanent recipient class. That's exactly.
I'm sure that is going to offend some people, and if it does,
too bad.
I'm sorry, but if you do nothing but extract from the system without contributing anything, you are by definition a parasite.
Yeah.
It just
and I wouldn't be sorry.
I'm sorry that the English language and Webster's offends you.
Yeah. So,
but you're right. When you have this generationally, you instill this sense of entitlement for doing nothing.
It's not designed to help anybody. Okay?
No,
it's not. It's the only thing it's designed to help is keep the people that want the destruction in power. Okay. It's designed to destroy the people they're giving it to, because they're never going to go out. They become a permanent, just like what was the name of the commenter that made that on YouTube?
It was Dugden Humley.
Okay, it was a great comment, because these people they've been born into a life, and ultimately this is not fair to them. They've been born into a life. The only thing they know how to do is take. They don't know how to be productive. They don't know how to stand for themselves. They are going to be permanently 100% reliant on the good-natured feeling of the American taxpayer and the government, right? And the American taxpayer has had enough. They've had enough.
Well, and I've got a buddy of mine, Matt. He grew up in that type of environment. He decided that he was going to not be there, so he joined the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
He was active duty Marine. I know he did one. He may have done two. I think he did one enlistment. Okay. And even he said it was crabs in a bucket. Anytime you're doing anything to better yourself, anybody else in there is trying to grab you and pull you back in.
Yeah.
It's people that try to better themselves, that try to do more and be productive, are ostracized from their own community.
Yeah, because they've created a culture of being a recipient. And if you're successful and you make something yourself, that is more of a reflection on them internally, if they have any shame left at all, right? And they don't want it, right? Because it shows what turds they actually are. So not everybody is a turd. Some people legitimately are in trouble, and that's what that safety net's supposed to be there for. The problem we have is the vast majority of those are people that are very capable of working and very capable of at least getting a broom in their hand and sweeping up their neighborhood, right?
Well, the phrase I heard, and it's a very boomerish sounding phrase, but the safety net turned into a hammock.
Yeah.
And it's accurate. I mean, if you were legitimately worried about where your next meal was going to come from, you would be out there. Well, I guess it's changed from, hey, I need to go out there and I need to go out there and work. I need to find something, some job, some employment that's going to bring in some money, to, well, if I'm not going to be given what I'm owed, I'm just going to go steal shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what.
And there should be, right there, if you are convicted of a crime, you lose all rights to any benefits whatsoever. Period. Amen. Guess what? Crime would disappear, right?
It would definitely take a downward spiral.
Yeah, but there are no guardrails. There's none. You can't have.
There are no guardrails.
Yeah. So
there are not.
Well, we have gone over, Stu. Next week.
But hey, we got through everything though with the tangents.
We did.
So
next week I may not be here. There's something going on that I might need to take part in. So if we don't have a show next week, what we put out a message on.
Yeah, we'll put out a message. My plan is if you're not able to, I will still do something. I don't know of anything that would prevent me from being here, because apparently I love you guys much more than Matt. So no. Just we like to keep it. If neither one of us can be here, there's something that's going sideways and we can't recover from it. We definitely try and respect your guys' time and the commitment that you have to come here and listen to us pontificate on the ails of the world. Bloviate, yes. So we definitely try to respect that and be here because you guys are putting forth the effort to do so as well. So if there is a time, and I think there's been twice or maybe 3 times since you and I have been doing the show that the wheels fell off the cart and we couldn't put something together because
for sure.
We really try to make that effort because you guys do as well. So we appreciate everyone, appreciate the effort that you guys put in, the support you guys have for us. And go ahead, Matt. What have you got?
Well, I just wanted to see, do we have anybody that we didn't get to on comments?
Oh wait, Freedom did say, well, Troy said that Don Lemon needs to do prison time, and he'll probably be a fan of the after dark activities.
There you go. That would be a vacation for Don Lemon.
Yeah. Freedom said that Noam announced tonight there will be arrests concerning the church fiasco within the next several hours.
I cannot wait. They need to arrest them all. Not just Don Lemon. They need to arrest them all. How dare they? How dare they go in there and intimidate people attending their weekly church service? That is insane. And
like you said, they would never, and not just saying, oh, well, it's not ICE because ICE is arresting brown people. It wouldn't do any good to go to a mosque. Anything. Yeah. Anything. There would never be this interruption into a mosque. And then the press, everybody's going, oh, well, that's completely legitimate because they're protesting a whatever. It's like, okay, what if I'm protesting child brides and I decide to have that protest inside of a mosque? Oh, my goodness. No, that would never happen. Never.
Yeah, for sure. So,
but like I said, we appreciate you guys. You want to go ahead and close us out, Matt?
Yeah, I want to thank each and every one of you, first and foremost, for being a patriot. I want to let you guys know how much we appreciate you guys showing up and taking part in this show and putting up with primarily Stu, but a little bit of myself as well.
I try. I do my best, but I've got very little to work with here.
And I really do appreciate you guys being here. And we are growing slowly. And it's steady. But I really enjoy the company of you guys and the new guys coming on. And we value your comments. You guys bring as much to the show as we ever did. So let's keep it going. Live in freedom every day. And shit, guys, keep your head down. Educate people. Let's come up with some names, some congressmen that we need to, some rhinos that we need to primary. 1 or 2. Let's pick 1 or 2 and just hit them over and over and over and over again, and maybe start to get something going. So beyond that, we are going to have some guys on here that we want to. We're bringing people on that we like. Okay, so that's just so you know, but they should be interesting conversations, and we'll go from there. We'll keep you updated on when we're going to do that. And hey, thanks for joining us and living freedom every day.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.